In this video, I'm gonna teach you the 22 elements of a thriving heart-centered business. Okay, so I'm John Muller. I'm a former Buddhist monk, former professional counselor, and I took my gifts as a meditation teacher and turned them into an online spiritual coaching business. I also learned digital marketing, developed a digital marketing agency, and then I started helping other spiritual coaches and healers, online service providers, and so on to build a thriving business based on their own spiritual gifts. So if you'd like to learn how to do this or develop a system of cash flow that leverages not just your own gifts, but other people's in order to create 10K months, weeks, or even days, then I'd love to help you. You can click below this video to find a link that shares with you more information on how to do that depending on where you're at and what you want to do. Okay, so you can click below to get that now. But in this video, I'm gonna share with you the 22 elements of a thriving, successful, online, heart-centered healing or coaching business. Okay, so I can only speak from my experience. I do not have experience of all types of business, but I do know this one, the online, service-based, heart-centered, spiritual healing or coaching business. Really anything from hypnotherapy to relationship coaching, to healing, to energy work, to any kind of spiritual coaching or personal development coaching that allows a person to have a better life, where you can deliver the services online, not just in person, and where you leverage the power of social media to bring people to you. Okay, so in this video, we're gonna cover the 22 elements of this so you can get a big picture on all the pieces required for you to make this happen in your life. Okay, so let's jump right in. The first category has 5 elements and it's for personal, it's like your personal growth, your own personal alignment. The first category of 5 has to do with you. The first thing you need is personal alignment. Okay, so this means that you need to know direction. So for me, alignment means divine direction combined with like heart-centered resonance. You need to have your heart and the divine connected to each other so that you're being led by your heart by the divine. You need a higher divine direction. So that for me is what alignment means. You absolutely must have this in your own life, and you must have this in order to start the kind of business that I'm talking about. Okay, so number 1, alignment. Number 2 is empowerment. Empowerment means that you are filled with divine energy, right? You're being led by the divine, but you, along the way, you become filled with divine energy. You have divine life within you. You can speak and other people feel your vibes. You can wink or look at someone in the right way and they feel it. You move your body. You have thoughts that are powerful, that create transformation in others and in yourself. This is what happens when we are empowered, okay? And there's a sense of confidence within it, but it's really a sense of life, the power of life, the power of divine life flowing through you, right? If you think about like a circuit, right? For a circuit to be empowered, what does it mean, right? It means that power has to flow through it, but power will never flow through a circuit unless that circuit is connected to some sort of ground, right? There's got to be some sort of grounding element that happens, right? So we are the circuit, and the divine power will not choose to flow through us unless we are also connected to other people who need our help. Okay, so this is the key for empowerment, is we actually need, it's not just divine connection. It doesn't work that way. That's a self-centered view, right? If you think that you can just be empowered by yourself. Empowerment really means that we are connected to the people who need our help, and we are dedicated. We have channels that are set up like circuits where the power flows through us to other people who need us. And then we actually experience being empowered. That's what being empowered really means. Okay, so number 2 is we must be empowered, which has a sense of you are compassionate towards others who need your help, and you are dedicated to helping them, and therefore the power goes to them through you. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3 is clarity. So clarity in this case means clarity about your mission, clarity also about your brand, about your business, about what you want to do, right? You have a sense of like where you're going and how your business fits into that. Your business becomes a vehicle of personal growth, but also of helping others, of service. So your business is a vehicle of service and personal growth, and you kind of see how that is gonna work. You see a little bit about your brand, you see about the mission, the vehicle, the process, you have some clarity about how all those pieces are gonna fit together. Okay, so that's number 3 is clarity. Number 4 is communication. Your communication skill is very important. Like, imagine you had these first 3. You had personal alignment, you had empowerment, and you had clarity, but you lacked the ability to communicate. Well, that's gonna hold you back, isn't it, right? And so we do need to practice communication. For me, I was a professional counselor, and before that I was kind of an intern counselor. So I got experience of sitting in groups, and I worked with people who were addicted to drugs and alcohol. So I had experience of just sitting in these groups and just observing the other counselors and having a turn to share occasionally, and that was helpful. And then, you know, as a professional counselor, it was my job to teach classes and whatever, and I got some experience, but no one was really judging me on my presentation skill. I just got to learn through doing it. And then I became a Buddhist monk, or before I became a monk, I was just a community member at a Buddhist temple. And I got to start teaching meditation classes every week, right? My teacher gave me this role. So I started teaching classes every week, and he told me, he's like, John, I know you really want to become a really powerful, you know, dedicated meditation teacher. Like, I know that's what you want to do. And the way to do that, the way to get good at teaching meditation classes is to teach meditation classes. And so he just gave me a role with very low expectations of like, this is how to develop yourself. And he plugged me into a weekly group, and that group needed a teacher. And I had observed the previous teacher, and I could see that I was gonna do a better job than he was. And so, or that I could. And so like, there was an element of like, okay, I know I'm gonna be useful here in this role, and I know that I'm going to provide something that's better than nothing, and also possibly better than what they've already been getting. And so that gave me like some heart-centered reasons for doing it. But also, I just knew that I needed to throw myself in and just let the power come through me, because eventually I did get good. Like, my friend came to observe one of my classes, and he's like, I asked him for feedback, and he's like, you have potential. He's like, you're gonna be good someday, right? So I had some of the elements, and I was lacking some elements, and over time, right, like I had a very small group of like 10 or 12 or maybe even 6 people that would come regularly to my classes, and that was encouraging. And over time I did get pretty good, and for 3 years I taught once a week without missing a single class, right? And I also had opportunities when my teacher would go away or something, I would maybe cover classes at the main center, at the main temple occasionally. And he let me do an introduction to a week-long retreat at one point on a topic I was very passionate about. So I got some opportunities. Then I started doing these half-day courses, and then I became a resident teacher, meaning I taught classes 8 times a week on average, and I also led other things that happening at the center. So that was a big step up for me, but altogether, it was just practice at communication, right? And I had chosen to make my avenue of communication about transformation, about meditation, about helping others, etc. Okay, but what I'm saying is, if you put the time in, you eventually get good at it. And so, in my opinion, if you're looking for a place to start at improving your communication skills, number 1 is you need to find a network of peers to talk to, because you will start to emulate other people's communication style. So for example, if you joined my program or one of my programs, you will see me and you'll see the other students and the other teachers in this program, and you will get to emulate our communication styles. And by listening to it and basing yourself in it, by marinating in it, your own communication style will upgrade in your own mind. But then you also need a place to practice. And so I do recommend opening up a Facebook group, and whether you're the only member there, or whether you let in a few people, or whether you let in a lot of people, either way, doing weekly classes in that private Facebook group is going to be an amazing way for you to just over time improve your communication style. Facebook Lives are very low risk, because even if no one attends live, it still gets recorded and you can turn it into a digital course later. And if it doesn't turn out good, you can just delete it. So it's a really good way to get practice. So that's I did weekly classes in a small group setting. I recommend that you use Facebook Live and just go live once a week and inside a private group, and that way you improve your communication style. So that's number 4. Number 5 is energetic influence. So we do need to improve our ability to be energetically influential, right? And so this is a whole training. I can't go into it now, but this is like a leadership skill. And if you want to learn more about how to become energetically influential, join my programs, because I will teach you everything I know about it. Okay? So those are the first 5, and those are related to you and your own personal skills, your own personal style, your own personal empowerment, and so on. Okay, so now the next ones, we get into the branding and your business. Okay? So again, these relate to really any business, and I want you to think of your own and how you can create each piece for yourself. Okay, so we need number 6 is brand. The next 2 are about brand. Okay, so we got brand creation and brand awareness. Brand creation means anything that you do in the privacy of your own contemplation, maybe even if you have a team, or if you just open Canva and you just start creating branding elements for yourself. You can kind of know, okay, here are my fonts, here are my colors, here's my theme, here's the feel of my brand, here's the look of my brand, here's the status of my brand, here's like what I want people to think about it. Okay, now let me create various things. So like creating that brand, the concepts, the themes, the elements in your, where no one sees it yet, but you and possibly a team with you, that's the next step. That's number 6. And then after that is brand awareness. So that's when you start putting it out there and you let people start to see what you're doing, okay? So people just becoming aware of your brand is a step. It's not making revenue yet, you're not making tons of money, but at least people are becoming aware of your brand. And that means they kind of know what your mission is, what you stand for, what the feel of it is, the look of it is, right? They can start to recognize those things. They can maybe hear your brand story, right? So these are all elements of a brand that you need to create, and also elements that you need to help other people become aware of. Okay, so those are number 6 and number 7. The next 3, so all the rest are going to be in groups of 3. So the next 3 are interest and audience, leads and community, appointments and attendees. Okay, so interest and audience. So this means that it's not just people becoming aware of your brand, it's becoming interested. They're becoming interested in who you are, what you do, what you offer, everything about it. They have positive interest that's pulling them towards what you're doing. And this kind of means that you're creating an audience. Okay, so whether you're using Facebook or other channels, other platforms, or YouTube or Instagram, doesn't matter. People, the next level is not just that they become aware of you, they're actually interested in what you do and what you're offering, and we can call that creating an audience. It's almost like, imagine like a concert in a field, right? So you're on stage and you're kind of talking from stage, and there's people who are just interested in what you're saying. That's what it feels like when you have an audience, okay? The next level is leads and community. So I'm putting these together because depending on your strategy, these 2 things are basically the same. So you're capturing the contact info of a person who's interested, and then they become a lead. So technically a lead is when you have some piece of contact info about them, like their name, you want their email address, and ideally you want their phone number. Okay, so those are the main 3 things that you want for a lead. Even if you just got their name and email, that's fine. Technically, even if you just got their email, they're still a lead. Okay, so you kind of want name, email, and maybe even phone number. Now they're a lead. Now that means that they're not just in a vague audience, they're on some sort of list where you can regularly contact them. You can tell them, hey, I have a big promotion coming up, this week, would you like to buy something, or would you be interested in this? Or you can say, hey, I just want to give everyone a free gift of this download, please go here and receive it. Or hey everyone, I'm just curious, what are your biggest questions about this? Because I'm gonna do a workshop and I'm just want to know what you think, right? So when you have a list, it gives you a two-way communication channel with them, right? It's different than just an audience. They have shown so much interest that now they've joined some sort of list. And a community is another way to think about this, right? So let's just say they join your private Facebook group. Now, technically you kind of have their contact info, you kind of don't, kind of Facebook has it, but they're still inside a private community where now you can have two-way information exchanged, okay? So you want to think about your list of leads as being a community, whether it's an email list or a text list, or they're in your Facebook group, or they're in a chat thread of yours. It doesn't really matter. The point here is that you think of it as a community, and you now have a communication channel with them where you can contact them and they can contact you. That is the next step, and that's very important because if you were to advertise or if you do launches and big campaigns, you're not gonna, do you really want to to advertise forever? Do you really want to always have to do big campaigns? What if you do a big campaign and a launch and maybe even some ads, and you grab the contact info of these people, right? Now some time passes, and let's just say you're focused on just delivering for your clients, but now the next time you want a new influx of new clients, you don't have to do a big campaign, a big launch. You can just text or email or send a message to everybody on your list, right? Because only 1, 2, maybe 3% of them actually bought from you. The rest are just interested, but they didn't buy yet. Okay, and so that's why you want to create that list. So that's number 2 of this group. So it looks like as number 9 is leads and community. Okay, hopefully my math is right here. 5 + 2 is 7, 8, 9. Yep. So number 10 is appointments and or attendees. Okay, so depending on your strategy, if you are going to be selling on the phone, if you're going to be doing a strategy where you get people to fill out an application and they come onto your calendar and then you have a one-to-one call, we call that an appointment. Okay, so the next, a higher level lead, someone that they still haven't given you money, but they're so interested that they even scheduled a call, and now they're they may have even gone through an application process, and now they're going to be coming on the phone with you, and they're going to be talking to you directly about joining your programs. Okay, so that's number 10. But also, depending on your strategy, you may not be doing one-to-one calls. You may also just be doing workshop attendees or live event attendees. So the equivalent is somebody would just, instead of just being on your email list, now they actually attend a live event. They come to your webinar, they come to your workshop, they come to your retreat, they whatever, right? And so now they're there, and that shows a higher level of interest, that they come to this thing and now they get to receive extra value and hear your presentation. They get to hear a sales presentation, whether they're on the phone or at the group event. They get to receive value and hear a presentation at the same time. And so that's number 10. And you may be combining those two. Some people do group things and then they do one-to-one calls. Some people just do one-to-one calls. Some people just do groups. I help my clients with all of those. You can do a combination, or you can just pick one or the other. It all works totally fine. I have clients who've been very successful with just calendar appointments and with just workshops and with combining them. So I would love to show you this too. If you're interested, click below so you can schedule a call with us and watch our presentations, because I can't wait to share with you more about what we do. All right, so that's number 10. Number 11, so the next 3 are actually where you start to make money. Okay, now I want to really describe the difference between these 3. This is my main reason for making the video, actually, was for these 3 things, to share with you what the difference is between these 3 things. Okay, this might be obvious for some of you, but for some of you, it's not obvious. Okay, revenue, cash, and cash flow. Okay, revenue is a magical number that sort of describes what amount of money is supposed to come in to your business, right? So for example, if I have let's just say I have a $10,000 program, right? But let's just say that it only costs $2,400 down, right? So somebody joins my 10K program, they're like, yes, I commit to the 6 months or whatever, and yes, I'm gonna do the whole 10K, no problem. They signed a contract, and so they've committed to 10K. So I've just made a 10K sale, but they've only put $2,400 down, or $2,500 or whatever. They put some amount down, okay? And now, did I really make $10,000 this day? Well, kind of, right? I made $10,000 in revenue, but I didn't make it in cash, right? So the next level is cash. It's like, how much money did you actually receive into your bank account? This is kind of more important, right? Because cash is real, whereas revenue is potential. Revenue is potential cash. It's not actual money. You can't spend revenue because it's just a promise of money. It's a contracted amount, but it's not true spendable money yet. Okay? So now here's where it gets interesting. If I were to have, let's just say, I'll use my real numbers, right? So I had a 10K program, and I still do, that is, it's actually $12,000 because it's $2,000 per month for 6 months. So 2 times 6 is 12. So it's $12,000, but it's $10,000 if you pay up front in full. Right now, some people do choose to pay up front in full, and that's very good, and we love that. That is amazing, right? And generally, people who pay in full get very, very good results. But a lot of people also get good results by joining the payment plan, which is $2,000 per month, okay? Now, if I were to make one of these sales, like let's just say week number 1, I make a 12K sale, and so I made a 12K day in revenue, but I only made $2,000 in cash, right? But let's just say that the next week I do that same thing again, right? And let's just say the next week I do the same thing again, and the next week I do that same thing again. So now I've made a total of 12 times 4, that's 48. So I've technically made a $48,000 month in revenue, but I've collected $8,000. Right? Do you get that? 2 times 4, so that's 1 per week. 2 times 4 is 8,000 in that month. Okay? And so I could say to everyone, hey guys, I've just done a $48,000 month, but I have 8,000 in my bank account. Now that 8,000 is not simply cash. We can call it cash flow, actually. So this is the third level, is cash. So there's revenue, cash, and cash flow. This is cash flow because now I have 8,000 that comes to me every month. I don't have to make any new sales. I could literally just go and deliver for my clients and do a really good job at delivering my service. I could stop posting on social media. I could stop doing sales calls. I could stop anything like that and just deliver. And now I have 8,000 per month for 6 months, right? So that's called cash flow. Now, the next month, if I'm good, if I know a little bit about program design and maybe I have like 1 or 2 team members or something, I can, or at least maybe I'm leveraging group coaching instead of just one-to-one. As I deliver for these 4 clients, paying me $2K per month each, as I deliver for them, what if I still had some free time? What if I still had some free energy? What if I wanted more clients, right? So now the next week, let's just say I make another 12K sale, right? And I get another 2,000. And then the next week I make another 12K. And the next week I make another. And so that second month, let's just say I did the same thing. I made a $48,000 month in revenue, but I made another $8,000 in cash collected, right? But now I have 16,000 cash flow, right? Because I have the 8 plus 8. And now the next month, let's just say I do it again, right? So on paper, it might look like I had 3 $48,000 months in a row, but what I've done is created not just cash, but cash flow. Now I have $24,000 in cash flow, like cash, not just cash in the bank. Cash in the bank is a good feeling. It feels really good. Cash in the bank is way better than revenue, but cash flow is even better because it's a promise of future cash, right? Cash flow is a system of predictable future cash in the bank that happens regularly on some sort of cadence. That's what cash flow is. All businesses should look for cash flow. Cash flow is the holy grail. If you have cash flow, you will attract like investors. If you're going on Shark Tank and you don't have any sales, probably they don't want to work with you. Probably. If you've made some sales, cool. But if you have cash flow, that's the holy grail. That's what they all want. Every investor is looking for cash flow. Okay, so not that you're going to get an investor, but I'm just saying that's how attractive it is. That's how powerful it is. Okay, so by month 3, you're creating $24,000 in cash flow. Now that's the level that I got myself to. Just to be totally transparent, that's where I got. It was literally 24,000 in cash flow. Now I've made more than that in cash in some months. I've made beyond 30, around 40, I think 38 maybe. That's in terms of cash. That's different though. You know, if I were to make a $24,000 month in cash flow, but then I have like one pay in full at 10K, what is that? Now that's 34 in cash that month, but only 24 of it is predictable. Only 24 of it is gonna happen the next month and the next month and the next month, okay? So that's what you want. That's what you really want. Now, again, this is the main reason for making this video was to talk about this, although I know that a lot of people needed to hear all the steps. So I'm giving all these different steps because I think it's useful, but I want you to start thinking about the difference between revenue, cash, and cash flow. Now, when I promise someone, hey, I wanna help you make $10,000 months, weeks, or days, I wanna say that there is a combination of these things that I'm promising. As you can see, if I've only gotten myself to $24,000 months at the time filming this in cash flow, I could never promise that I could help someone to do better than that, right? So having 10K cash flow is a really good thing. Having 24K cash flow is a really good thing. Doing it in a way that's spiritually aligned and that feels good, that has free time, where you're doing a really good job with your clients and you're not working all the time, that's really good, right? Like, that's really good. And that's what I've done. So if you're interested in that, like, we could work together, right? But just so you know, like, before you get there, you need to focus on maybe these other two, right? Having 10K in revenue in a month is still a really good step. You know, that's gonna come first probably, right? I remember a few years ago when I had my first 10K month in coaching, in just the coaching business, it felt really good. Like, it felt so good, and I didn't collect all of it. I collected, you know, a few thousand, right? I collected a few $1,000s that month, but we had made like $14,000 in revenue in that month. And we collected maybe half of it, but it felt so good, right? So, and then, you know, I did a $30,000 month after that in revenue. Not in cash collected, in revenue. Revenue is a sale that has a promise of future cash. That's all it is. It doesn't mean that you're definitely going to collect it. Some people don't follow through on their payment plans. Some people cancel. Some people just kind of fall off and they just whatever. They don't have the money or whatever. So like, revenue isn't the same as cash. And a lot of times people will follow through and pay it, but sometimes they don't. And that's normal for all business owners. Okay, so now that you know the difference between revenue, cash, and cash flow, you can start thinking about that. Yes, I've made $10,000 cash days, which is really cool. Before that, I was able to make $10,000 revenue days. Actually, my very first 10K sale was a pay in full. So it was a 10K cash experience. And yeah, so anyway, I want to help you to do all these things. 10K months that are revenue months, that are cash months, and that are cash flow months, and even some 10K cash days. Now, I've never had a 10K cash flow day. Like, that's a $300,000 month, isn't it? If you're making 10K cash flow days, you're making $300,000 in a month. That's cool, but I don't know a lot of people who are doing that on a system. Right, doing it in launches is cool too. But anyway, now that there's some transparency here, now you can see. Hopefully, you can set realistic expectations for yourself while keeping your eye on the prize. Like, you know, you want to keep your eye on that star, and you want to keep moving forward. Okay, so those are those three I believe that was 11, 12, and 13. Now we're on 14, 15, and 16, which is going to be more of the delivery piece. So we want impact, we want documented impact, and we want referrals. So those are the next three, okay? Impact, documented impact, referrals. Okay? So as a business owner, if you don't have impact, if you can't feel that you're creating an impact, that you're really helping people, you will literally burn out, you will fizzle out, you will get scared, you will get insecure, you will stop believing in yourself, everything will crumble. Your entire business will crumble, you will lose the ability to sell, you will stop trying to market, you will start hiding, you will not be interested in doing business anymore, right? This is where people start to shrink, and then they disappear for a while, they crawl under a rock, and they decide to go and do something else with their time. That is the main reason for that isn't lacking cash or cash flow, it's that they're not seeing impact, right? If you're making money and you're not creating impact, it will create a cognitive distortion in your mind, and you will not be okay with it, and you will not feel good, and you will lose energy for promotion, and you will lose belief, which is vital to sales and marketing. Okay, so you absolutely must create impact, or if literally everything will crumble for you. Like, that's just for you. That's just for your end. You need to create it for yourself, or else everything crumbles. Like, literally your whole personality will crumble, your business will crumble, everything crumbles, right? Obviously, you need to create it for your clients too, because you're promising impact. The whole business is based on promises. That's what business is, if you haven't realized. Business is a thing where you shake hands and you both make a promise, right? And sometimes the value is delivered very much up front, but a lot of times some value is delivered up front, and then value and money are promised to each other, right? And so you're promising impact, you're promising transformation to people, right? You're promising that. You're promising that you're gonna do your part anyway. You're not responsible for making sure that all your clients get the result, because you can't do that for another person. Like, for example, Amazon is very comfortable selling me stuff. Amazon sold me this thing behind me, right? They sold me a lot of the stuff that is in this apartment. They never went to check on me to see, is that stuff working? How is it working for you? Is it okay? Are you getting value from that? Did you even open the box yet? You know, are you using it properly? You know, how much value is it adding to your life? They don't check, right? And Amazon's a very good company. They're maybe the best company, right? But they didn't do that, because they fulfilled their role. Their responsibility is getting the right product shipped to me in a timely way, right? And they are there for customer support. They actually are, but they don't manically check, right? They don't have a codependent relationship with their clients where they don't feel comfortable if the clients, like, I sometimes don't use stuff that I've ordered, right? But Amazon doesn't feel bad about that, because that's my responsibility, okay? It's the same with you and your business. Really, any business is like this, like a car company. It's the same thing. You know, they deliver their part of the bargain, which is they've delivered this car that they've promised you. And then the way that you utilize it, it could sit in the garage for a year without you driving it, right? You know, if you had 3 cars, then maybe your car just sits in the garage. They don't feel bad about it. They don't care, because that's not their responsibility. That's yours. In the same way, in your business, like, you are responsible for your end of the bargain, which is delivering on your own promises, right? Your promises are like, I will give you this number of sessions. I will show up this number of times a week on the group. I will give you these videos. I'll give you these workbooks. I will be there for question and answer. You know, I'm available if you need to contact me. And in the sessions, we will do these exact steps, and this is what you can expect. Like, you deliver on those promises. But so, like, that's true. But if you don't see an impact in general, I'm not saying every single client will get an impact. Like, everyone gets an impact, but they don't all get the result that they wanted, right? Some people, when they sign up for my business coaching, they weren't ready to start making a lot of money yet, right? But maybe they get a lot of clarity. Maybe they get through a personal blockage, right? Maybe they get really clear on what they want to do. Maybe they build the foundational steps, right? Maybe they get what they needed, and then later they get what they wanted, right? That happened to me. My very first coach that I hired, right? I didn't get anything really from it. I got nothing, actually. I got zero if you look at measurable external results, and it was business coaching. But what I did get was I got a mindset shift that set me up for success. So the next coaches I hired, I immediately had success. Immediately had big success. But I never would have gotten that if I hadn't gotten that mindset shift that this one guy helped me with. Now, at the time, I was not happy with the service, but when I look back, I'm extremely grateful because it gave me what I needed, not what I wanted, right? So you can't get upset if not every single client gets the results that they really wanted, because everyone does get what they need if you provide a good service. However, you do need to see an impact for your own eyes. Your own eyes need to see it, and of course, that's what you promised for them. Like, they need to get it too, because that's only fair. This is how fair business works: is you make a promise and then you deliver, and the person pays and then they receive. That's how it works. So impact is vital for maintaining good relationships with the public and for having a business that you feel comfortable with, that you believe in, and just for your heart, your own heart's fulfillment. You're doing this, at least partially, right? I'm guessing for most of you listening, at least 30, 40, 50% of your motivation for doing your business is fulfillment, personal fulfillment. And so you will not feel any fulfillment at all if you're not creating impact. You really won't feel any at all, okay? Helping others is another motivation. That's different than fulfillment, isn't it, right? So anyway, impact. Impact creates happy clients, it creates fulfillment for you, and it creates goodwill in the market. It creates belief in what you do, which allows you to be more effective in your marketing and sales process. So that's important. And then the next step is, I call it documented impact. So this is where you actually screenshot testimonial. It's the next level, right? It's the next step, right? It's possibly less important. It's less important than impact, but it's more tangible. So you start taking screenshots of people saying good things about you, right? Your clients say, hey, I just had this winner, I just had this winner, thank you so much. And you start taking screenshots of those. You start asking them for testimonials. Hey, can you make me a 45-second video where you just share what it was like before working with me, what it was like during working with me, what it was like after working with me? Can you make me one of those with your face on the camera, with just like a nice background, and just keep it as short as possible? You'll get people to say yes, right? And then you put them on your website, you put the screenshots on your website, you can put them in your promotion and your marketing. It's so helpful. It's really, a brand needs this. You can only get so far just based on your own front end promises and your own like charisma and your own whatever. Like, you'll get clients like that, but then the next big wave of clients comes in through seeing the documented impact that you've already done. They see those things and they're like, oh, I'm in this position too. I want that. I'm not like, this person's not better than me. I could get this result too. And they'll start joining your program mostly based on those documented testimonials, the documented impact. Okay? And the next step is referrals, right? You do want to create a system of referrals. You want the impact to be so good that people go and tell their friends. And you want to really incentivize your clients. It's very helpful to give incentives. So you can give referral fees. Some people just give flat fees of like $500. Some people give more. Some people give, a percentage. I was doing 12% for a while. Now I have a really special program that gives a 2-tier affiliate model. And so it's 22.5% and 22.5%, meaning if you were to invite 5 people, you would get 22.5% of whatever they spend. And if they were to invite 5 people each, now you're getting 22.5% of what those 25 people spend. So now your referral commission increases from the 5 people, 22.5% times 5, which is roughly what you're spending. It's a little bit more than what you paid, right, to get in. But now you get 25 times that. Or in other words, whatever you earned from that first tier, you're making 5 times that much because you're getting 22.5% on what each of them brings in as well. So that's a really cool product, and I teach everybody how to market it. You can create a whole business based on this. You can create a whole system of cash flow and impact, and it's an asset. It's a cash flow asset that creates viral impact just by referring people to this program. And I teach you all the marketing, how to do that. I teach you all the systems. I give you the systems of promotion so you can bring people in. It's very useful, and you create an audience as well, and you create your own skill and confidence in marketing as well, which is really useful. So if you're interested in that, again, click the link below this video, because I will give you a presentation that teaches you more about that and how you can get started for the lowest price I've ever offered. Okay, so click below to find out more about that. That one's called the Abundant Ambassadors Program. It is definitely the most special program I've ever created, and it has the most potential, let's just say that. Okay, so that's number, what was it, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now that's referrals. Now for you don't have to create something so complex, but just having some system of referral, giving some incentive, and encouraging your happy clients to go tell, 5 people about it. They're not all gonna do it, but some people might tell 1 or 2 people, and you'll get some clients coming in. It's really, really important that you do this for the own sustainability of yourself. You're gonna start to feel supported by your clients, and it's a good test. You'll know that you really have happy clients if they actually go and do this for you. Okay, so that was 16, I believe. 17, the next 3 are time, systems, and team. So you wanna make sure that you have time, that you have free time. All the above might sound like a lot of work, but you do personally need to have time. You need to have personal time. You need to have alone time. You need to have free time. You need to have time for self-care and self-love. You need to have time where you do nothing. You need to have time with family. You need to have time where you don't think about business at all. You need to have time where you don't hear from your clients at all. You need this. It is vital to every human being to have time and space. It's really time and space together is this one, okay? So that means that all the above things need to be done in a way that's minimalist, that's simplistic, that's not too advanced, it's not too complex, where it functions without having too many moving parts, okay? Now the best way to do this is by using organic marketing and high ticket coaching or healing, right? You need to have, or not need, but it's very useful to have a high ticket offer. High ticket, here we can say anything above, I don't know, people use different words. $1,000 is the bare minimum of what you should be offering. I would say 1,000 is the bare minimum. You really want to get that somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000, and to be truly high ticket, it's probably above that, right? Or let's just say you really want to shoot between 1,000 and 3,000. If it's your first time offering something like this, between 1,000 and 3,000 is a good price. But if you've already been doing it for a while, you can gradually increase that. Okay, but having a high ticket offer, it means that you don't need that many clients, right? If you had a $2,000 offer, right, and you were to get 4 clients a month, 1 per week, that's $8,000. You could live on that, right? Let's just say that it's $2,000, but everyone only pays you half of it up front. That's still $4,000. You can live on that. You could live on $4,000 a month. You could that's decent, right? That replaces your other income. You want to make sure that you can easily replace other forms of income first before you start thinking big numbers, 10K months, 10K days. Those are all good, but you need to replace your other income first. And so depending on how much you make, somewhere between 2 and 5,000 a month is what you're gonna need probably for most people to replace their income and to just pay all the bills that they need to. Okay, so having a high ticket offer makes this easy, because high ticket plus organic marketing, and all you use to sell is a calendar. You don't need a funnel, you don't need a website, you don't need a big fancy thing. All you need is social media, you need a calendar, and you need a high ticket offer, right? I will teach you that my business coaching program teaches this, just this, nothing complicated, right? There's a bonus section on funnels, right? Funnels are a next step. You don't need that, but you do need Zoom, you need Canva, right? You need some way of collecting money, which everybody has, right? So Zoom, Canva, Facebook, a calendar, like Calendly or Acuity or whatever. You need something like that. So that's it. That's actually all you need. And this is enough to create a business that replaces your income and then makes you over 5 figures per month. So over 10K per month. That's all I used. Right now, I've been a digital marketer. And so I started using funnels sooner than most people need to, but my month, my first 14K month, and then my first 30K month, I didn't have a funnel. I had no funnel. I literally just had Zoom and Canva, and at that time I didn't even have a calendar. I just had Zoom, Canva, and Facebook, right? And a way of collecting money. So trust me when I say simplicity is helpful, because it allows you to retain your own time. And that time is where you recharge your energy. Time, energy, space. You need to retain these things for yourself so that you have them for when you need them, right? It's gonna take some energy to launch. It's gonna take some energy to deliver for clients. It's gonna take some energy to learn. It's gonna take some energy to envision your next steps. You need time, space, and energy for those things. And then for other habits that fuel you, right? You need that. So do not create a complex system, create a simple system. I will teach you this. If you want to learn, click the link below and just select the option about building your own business. And I will teach you that. I promise that I have a whole presentation that teaches the key to that, which is called presence marketing. Using your presence as your marketing and using marketing within your presence, so that wherever you show up, people are just magnetized to work with you. They want to work with you. They feel it. They feel the vibe. They hear the words. They understand what you do enough to know that they want to work with you. And then you'll have people coming onto your calendar, coming to your calls, saying, I already know I want to work with you before the call even starts, and even paying in full for your program, having just met you a couple hours ago. This is what presence marketing can do, and I give you a whole presentation on how this works. So just click below and click the link or the option that says you want to build your own business, and you can see the presentation on presence marketing. Okay, so that's number 17, I believe. Number 18 is systems. So systems and teams. So systems comes first, right? A system could be a system of delivery, right? I believe that it's very helpful to have systems of delivery. What does that mean? It means that, let's just say you deliver your program, it's not just one-to-one. Let's just say that there's some group component, right? So that's a system, right? You've created, in order to deliver group coaching or group healing or whatever, you need a system of delivery. You need to know a curriculum. You need to know, these are my steps to the transformation, right? When you're dealing one-to-one with everybody, you can just intuit the whole thing. You don't need a very clear system. You might need to be able to articulate a bit of a system on the front end to get the sale originally, but once you work with the one-to-one client, you don't need to have a set in stone system, because you can just customize everything. But once you start doing group coaching, you can't just customize it, because it'll feel really scattered. You need to bring people through some type of a system, right? Whether it's a 3-step or a 12-step or a 7-step process, you bring them through in a group format, and you obviously give room for Q&A and for laser coaching and stuff too, so that everybody gets what they need. But having some sort of system And a group is like the most easy, best way to do that at first. But then the next level is to create videos, right? So after you've created some sort of group process that's working, you can start creating videos, because the videos are essentially a group that you don't get any feedback on. Groups, you get feedback, right? For example, this video you're watching right now, I am not receiving feedback from you directly, but I've already taught these things enough that I know what to say. And so I already have feedback, and so I can deliver a helpful video. If this was my first time, my video would not be helpful because I haven't received enough feedback yet, right? So when you're doing a live group, you get feedback in the moment based on energy, based on feeling the energy, looking at their facial expressions. You get to like feel the vibe, and that gives you feedback, like energetic feedback on what to do, on where to take the direction of your presentation, okay? And then the next level of feedback is like they get to ask questions. They type them in the chat, they ask them directly, you get to hear their questions, and that gives you feedback. And now you can answer their questions, you can clarify misunderstandings, you can go deeper into certain points that you might have just glazed over that they really need to go deeper on. That's all feedback. Collecting all that feedback, now you have enough to make a video about that topic. And if you do group coaching for all your topics, now you can, and you receive feedback, with that feedback, now you can make helpful videos on every topic in your system. So then you get what I call a complementary video course. I believe the first step of creating a video course isn't to create a standalone product, it's to create a complementary program to your main program. So the groups, your group coaching starts out as a complement to your one-to-one, and then your videos start out as a complement to your group, right? So you're not telling people, hey, watch these videos and you'll get everything you need. You'll say, hey, watch these videos and then come to my groups and ask me questions about them. Or, hey, watch these videos, but just so you know, you also get these groups, you also get one-to-ones. For example, that's what I do. Okay, so my videos are not, now I have videos as standalone stuff, but for a long time, my videos were only a complement to my groups. And for a while, my groups are now standalone, but for a while, my groups were only a complement to my one-to-one, right? So you can build it in stages. You're not trying to create standalone products. You're trying to create systems of delivery, right? So one-to-one is hardly really a system because it still takes all of your own time and energy, right? But groups, now if you have a system of delivering the transformational content in the group, that gives you more impact or the same impact or very close to the same impact with a lot less effort. And then the videos, again, is a system of delivery. It's still you. It's not a team member. It's still you. So a system is more lean than a team. Everybody kind of glamorizes having a team. Teams cost money. Teams are expensive. The bigger your team, the less lean you are. You want a business that's lean, that's streamlined, right? Think about a streamlined like submarine. It moves through the water fast, powerfully, right? With less energy. A big submarine takes a lot of energy to move through that water, right? So a system of delivery where you're just creating videos that teach people stuff, that is still quite lean. It requires some upfront time and energy, but it doesn't cost you any money going forward, right? So you want to start not with teams really, but with systems, right? Teams don't even work without systems anyway, right? If you can't even deliver your content on video, how can you train a team member to deliver your content for you, right? Like if you're gonna train a team, the best way to train your team is to give them a video training course anyway, isn't it? Right? And so, systems are the next step. You want to create systems of delivery. That's what I like to do, right? But you also want systems of promotion. You want systems of sales, right? So all the above stuff about brand awareness and creating leads and community and getting appointments and getting sales and cash flow. You want to try to create systems for everything, like minimal systems. And then I believe systems of delivery are quite important too. So videos, as I said, and then you would go to the next step, which would be like workbooks. workbooks, and then even written content, audios. These are all part of a system of delivery that allows a person to get the promised result without so much effort from you. And when you have this in place, you get to maintain impact, which allows you to maintain belief in your process, which allows you to market and sell effectively. And so it also gives you free time. So now you have impact and fulfillment, you have belief in yourself, and you have more free time. You can use that time and that belief to now be powerful in promotion. You can promote very powerfully, you can sell very powerfully, and you can create systems of selling and promotion that work for you as well. Okay, so systems is very important. And then, so systems, so a lot of people talk about automation, right? Automation and systems are not exactly the same, right? Let's try to not focus too much on automation. Automation is a little bit tricky, right? Systems comes first. So for now, let's focus on systems. And then team is obviously people who decide to work with you, and maybe you pay them, maybe you're trading with them, maybe whatever, but they are helping you with delivery, they're helping you with promotion, they're helping you with sales. Maybe they're a salesperson, maybe they're a marketer, maybe they're a community manager, maybe they are a coach or two inside your program, maybe they're just an assistant, maybe they're an executive assistant, like an operator. There's all types of team, okay? And this becomes possible and it becomes useful. Trust me, you want systems before you have team, because if you don't, training a team member is very difficult and it usually becomes expensive and not effective. People's own teams are not effective for them unless they already have systems, usually, okay? Now you can create the systems with your team members, but anyway, I like to put systems first. Then you got the next three, and so there's only 4 left. So the next group is a group of 3, which is legacy, investments, and public service. So now this is more of like, what do you do next? Now, what do you do with the money? What do you do with your impact? What do you do with your business, with your brand? What are your next big steps? Because you've already created systems of cash flow, you've created a team, you created time freedom, you created impact, you create all these things and your brand. So now legacy is like, okay, there's a couple different things that you could do for legacy, for next steps, right? And we're not going to go into them here, but it generally will involve whatever your vision is for your brand and business, right? Some people want to create in-person centers and retreats. Some people want to create like low-ticket monthly memberships that people can join. Some people want to create nonprofit type stuff, right? Some people want to create whatever, right? There's lots of different things. You could create a super high-ticket product. You could create really in-depth in-person retreats where people come to your house or they come to destinations and you just deliver insane impact for them. Maybe you create very high-level masterminds, right? Legacy involves whatever those big next steps are. Investments is like, what do you do with the money now? Investment is where you can start developing passive income. I do not believe that business allows passive income. I just don't think it does, right? Business is not a passive income vehicle, but investments can be, right? Business requires effort. Let's not lie to ourselves. You can create systems of cash flow in business, and you can create team, you can even create automation, but it's really never passive because so much work goes into it, right? But investments can be passive. For example, if you were to invest in a sort of apartment building, like a real estate building, right? A piece of land is an investment because the value goes up over time, but an apartment building is a cash flow investment because the value goes up over time of the piece of property, but also people are paying rent every month. And that rent, a portion of that will go into your pocket, so now you have cash flow. Apartment buildings is the perfect way to think about cash flow assets. Again, if you want to learn about this, click below to watch the video on the next page. Okay, but other types of investment too. You can invest in other businesses. You can invest in tons of different things. You know, you want to invest in things that are actually assets, that you think the value will increase over time. Buying NFTs, buying crypto, in many cases, these are not assets. These are gambling. It's like betting on a horse. When people buy crypto or NFTs or different things that are like fad based, they're hypey, they're fads. These are not true assets. They don't actually have value that increases over time. You're just kind of gambling on a winning horse. It's like a horse race. You're like, I'm gonna put my money on this one because you think that one's gonna win. And so you think it's closer to gambling than it is to like investing. Investing, if you were to invest in stocks of a company, is not just because you think it's gonna go up in the short term. You actually think that the value of the company is going to increase over time and that you're getting in on something undervalued. That's, think about it like that. So investment is more just like what you do with your money. Obviously you want to invest in assets, and even more than that, you want to invest in cash flow assets. And then the last one's public service. Like, what do you do that is just to help people, that isn't even really using your own business name necessarily? It's not necessarily using your brand or whatever. You're not charging for it. There's some sort of public service that you're doing. Now, some people do YouTube videos and they do free content as their public service. This is something that I like to do. I love making videos like this. I genuinely love it. And so I have tons of other videos. Some of my mentors do this too, where they just create, you could call it like legacy content. It's just like content that is just like really their gift to mankind. But another way to think of it is public service, because you're not necessarily directly monetizing it, right? It's literally because you're just trying to help people for free, and you have a heart for that, right? So content is a way you can volunteer your time. You can create nonprofits, you can create fundraisers, you can donate to charity. There's lots of different things that you can do. My friend has a company where she cleans up beaches, right? She has a bikini company, but her public service is that they do beach cleanups, right? And then they publicize that, and that creates sales for her bikini company. So they can be connected. It's okay to have a connection between your public service and your brand. That's totally fine, because why not, right? It's still helping people, and your brand helps people too. So it's a win-win, right? But you do want to create public service that is a little bit simply because you want to do it out of the kindness of your heart. And whether or not it's connected to your brand, you still want to do it anyway. That's what you want. Okay, so that's number 21. Actually, no, that was the last one. Sorry. That was it. That's all of them. So the last one, public service. I think I counted right. So we got 5 plus 2 is 7 plus 8. How many is this? 7, 3, 9 plus is 15. 7 plus 15 is 22. Okay, good. I added up right. So these are the 22 elements of how to create a heart-centered healing or coaching business online. I hope you enjoyed. My name is John Muller. Again, if you are interested in learning more about me or learning more from me about how to create systems of cash flow, how to create ethical businesses that are from your heart, that help people, that do all these 22 things, I would love to teach you more about that. You can click below. There's a quick little questionnaire that will kind of direct you to the right product and service. I have a couple different things. They all come with video presentations that teach you more about it. And so just click below and go to the link, watch that little video, and then you can choose to work with me, or you can choose to just tell your friends, or you can choose to work with me now or later or whatever you want. Okay, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.